a cello, even a flute. It's tough to play a flute underwater, though. The show is at 8 o'clock this Saturday, and Sunday. Admission is free, but reservations are required by calling the Lawrence University box office. This is the strangest thing. I don't get it. Do you?
Well, it's different.
It's there, a guy in a tux swimming around in the pool to opera music. I'm in. That's our time for now. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, starting off the season with a thrilling win. We're live from Milwaukee for Brewers opening day.
And pushing for historic status for downtown Sun Prairie, the city's efforts straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
Staying with us tonight, Eric is off this week. It's opening day for the 2019 MLB season, a restart for baseball fans across the country.
And this afternoon's game in Milwaukee did not disappoint for Brewers fans. Sports Director Jay Wilson joining us now with a breakdown, one down.
Sometimes these openers are kind of dull, and this was
it was fun to watch.
A lot of screaming going on. Coming off a spectacular 2018, some think the Milwaukee Brewers probably can't reach those heights again in 2019. But after today's opening day win against St. Louis at Miller Park, the Brewers, well, they picked up right where they left off. Could Christian Yelich have another MVP season? Well, maybe. Yelich makes an early statement in 2019 with his 3-run homer to center field that put the Brewers up 4-3. 3 homers for Milwaukee today. Yelich, Mike Moustakas, and Ulises Chassin. Yeah, the pitcher, Chassin. It's a 5-3 Brewers lead, bottom of the 5th. 5-4 in the 9th. Josh Hader in for a 2-inning save, but Jose Martinez makes it real interesting. That could be the game-tying homer, but it's another spectacular catch by Lorenzo Cain to end it. Brewers win the opener 5-4. This is the first of 4 games against the Cardinals to open the season. They'll play tomorrow night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon before their first road trip of the season at Cincinnati, starting Monday. So they still could go on 162-0.
Right at this point, that was a spectacular end. That catch.
Yeah, and he was second in the Gold Glove Award last year for the best fielder, and I think he's the leader right now after day 1. Cain made a great catch.
Great game.
Good stuff. Thanks, Jay.
You bet.
When thousands made the trip to Miller Park to cheer on the team, and they got their money's worth today.
That's for sure. Adam Duckster is there now talking with fans about the big day. Adam?
Well, Mark and Susan, many of the 45,000 who made their way to Miller Park today for opening day have made their way back to their vehicles and onto the road. But opening day, a day many have marked on their calendars long ahead of time. And earlier today, we caught up with Tim from Hartford, and Tim and his crew have been to opening day each of the last 8 years, and they do it in style. They come in a one-of-a-kind Brewer mobile that has to be seen to be believed. And while Tim says the car gets him and his group plenty of attention, he said the thing he was most excited about for today is sunshine and baseball.
When we get weather like this on opening day, it's maybe 1 out of 10 that we get these type of weather situations on opening day. Because I've been in sleet and rain and sideways sleet and rain and just miserable days on opening day, all the way back to the county stadium days. And rarely do we get one like this. So the only thing that could make it better is the Brewers come home with a win today.
And the Brewers did absolutely that, as Jay mentioned, beating the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 5-4. And Tim says he believes this could be the year the team goes all the way. He says they've got pitching, they've got fielding, and they've got hitting. Only time will tell, but as Jay mentioned before, one step closer to 162-0.
We're trying to figure out if the roof was open today, Adam. Do you know?
No, the roof was closed to my knowledge today, but still plenty of sunshine, an absolutely beautiful day to be out here in Milwaukee.
Good stuff. Adam Duckster live in Milwaukee. Adam, thank you.
Good assignment for Adam today. And it was a nice day for baseball. Let's get a look at your first alert forecast. Gary Canalti is out on the backyard patio.
If the Brewers want to go 162-0, they got to get past the Cubs too, and they're winning 8-2 down in Texas. So it's a good opening day all around, and the weather here is perfect. Too bad we couldn't just move one of the teams here to Madison and play their opening day. Visible cloud track shows we had a lot of sunshine today. There are some thicker clouds just out to the west of us, And in fact, a few sprinkles of rain have developed across southeastern Minnesota and northeastern Iowa, very similar in the area where the showers popped up yesterday. So I did have to add a couple of showers into the forecast this evening. You can see they're moving pretty quickly, so any shower that does occur this evening will be brief and light. Otherwise, low temperatures this morning generally started out in the 30s across much of southern Wisconsin. High temperatures today generally were in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees, a couple of 60s over southwestern portions of the state. And right now, temperatures are still pretty mild. Milwaukee right now, a little closer to Lake Michigan, they're at 48 degrees, but it's 56 in Madison. And to the west, it's as warm as 58 degrees in Boscobel. But tomorrow morning, temperatures will be a little colder, probably dropping into the lower 30s. Again, those showers mainly this evening, then skies will turn partly cloudy overnight. Tomorrow, we'll see some sunshine in the morning, more clouds in the afternoon. High temperatures still reaching 52. A chance for a rain or snow shower tomorrow night into Saturday morning. A little cooler for the weekend, but a nice forecast for the following week. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, thanks, Gary.
Someone in Wisconsin just got a lot richer. The $768 million ticket for the Powerball jackpot was sold at a Speedway gas station in New Berlin. The winner can choose if they want to take it in one payment or get the whole thing in cash, though they do lose about $300 million if they choose that. In addition to this winner, the store that sold the ticket gets $100,000, plus it provides some property tax relief to Wisconsin residents and puts $38 million into the Wisconsin Department of Revenue Bank. As for who the lucky winner is, well, we don't know.
We don't know who the winner is yet, but we certainly do congratulate them. We ask them to please sign your ticket. That is the most important thing that they can do right now. Please sign your ticket. Take ownership of that ticket. Get your affairs in order. You have 180 days to claim your ticket here in Madison, so we certainly look forward to meeting you.
And we will find out who the winner is because Wisconsin law does not allow winners to remain anonymous. And while that's not unique, not every state is like this. Tonight at 10, we'll share with you why the Wisconsin Lottery runs this way.
Sun Prairie business owners are hoping some new recognition will bring more people downtown and help them restore old buildings. 28 businesses were recently placed on the State Register of Historic Places. Rose Schmidt is here now to explain how the area is changing since the explosion last year. Rose?
Well, Susan, this historic status is something business owners first advocated for in early July last year. But the deadly explosion on July 10th put the plans on hold for several months. The owners of the old City Hall building actually spearheaded the campaign to get historic status for buildings downtown. They're hoping that by next winter, they'll be able to restore the old City Hall to what it originally looked like back in 1895. And the historic designation will allow them to get a tax credit from the state in the form of 20% of the total restoration costs. The building sustained severe damage in the explosion.
We spent a lot of last summer and in the fall working on and focusing on just saving the building from being torn down. And so now that we move beyond that, we can shift back towards restoring and preserving the building for the foreseeable future.
This historic designation comes mostly because of the architecture of the buildings downtown. Business owners are also hoping the downtown district will get national recognition this year from the National Park Service and make people more interested in visiting Sun Prairie, which would be some good news for them. Urban design planners are also looking into how to redevelop the land left vacant after the explosion destroyed several businesses. And they will take into account how historic the surrounding businesses are when they make those design plans.
Good to see signs of progress.
Definitely.
Thank you, Rose.
Well, has someone in your family had an aneurysm? Get checked. That's the message of one Horicon person is relaying following her own near-death experience. Keely Arthur has the story from UW Hospital.
We had known that there was a risk in the family because my dad's side of the family has had some aneurysm ruptures.
But when Katie Grippentrog and her siblings were urged to get screened, they put it off.
I was 23. I didn't think that it would ever happen to me.
And for 9 years, she thought she was right. Aside from high blood pressure, another risk factor, Katie was perfectly healthy until June 14th, 2018, when the happily married mother of two woke up from a nap.
When I stood up, I just felt this pop and just immense pain in my head.
Her husband called me, it was like midnight, just a couple minutes after midnight and said, I need you to come over, there's something wrong with Katie. He didn't, that's all he said. And I could hear her in the background yelling, hurry, Mom, it hurts.
Katie's mother, an emergency medical technician, recognized the symptoms.
I called the EMTs and said, hurry up, it's Katie.
She was taken to a hospital in Beaver Dam and then airlifted to UW Hospital in Madison, where neurosurgeon Dr. Mustafa Bezkaya was waiting.
This is when the Katie went to the ER.
Confirming that an aneurysm had ruptured.
You have this white stuff here and then this region, that's a blood. And that's not supposed to be there.
Bezkaya took her into surgery, working for 7 hours to save Katie's life.
Not every patient as lucky as Katie, so some of them, they don't arrive in a timely basis, and so nothing you can do.
But for Katie, there was. While under, Bezkaya found a second aneurysm that hadn't burst.
Luckily, it was in the same vicinity, in same sitting. I treated that as well.
And after months of therapy, Katie has made a near full recovery.
You look great.
Thank you.
Look at her.
While she isn't the first member of her family to have had a brain aneurysm, she is the first to survive it. Bezkaya says if you have a family history, you are 30 to 40% more likely to have an aneurysm yourself. So go get screened.
We can help any time for any people here.
If you know you have that chance, you definitely need to get checked.
That was Keely Arthur reporting. Now, sudden, extremely severe headaches, stiff neck, and vomiting are all signs of an aneurysm.
Still ahead tonight at 5, a war of words continues over the Jussie Smollett case. The mayor of Chicago today calling out the president.
Plus, a big announcement from Disney today, changing up some policies at all of its U.S. parks. Well, today marks the 40th anniversary of the radiation leak at 3 Mile Island, the most serious accident in the commercial nuclear power plant operating history. On this date in 1979, the island's Unit 2 reactor suffered a partial meltdown. It was determined the accident was a combination of human error, design deficiencies, and equipment failures.
Anyone visiting Disney parks in the U.S. will no longer be able to smoke on the premises. Starting May 1st, Disney will eliminate all smoking sections from Disney World, Disneyland, California's Downtown Disney, and Florida's ESPN Wide World of Sports complex, plus all of the Disney water parks. Disney said smoking areas will be available outside the park's entrances. President Trump is shifting the focus now that the Mueller investigation is over. The president told Republicans this week he wants health care to be a major issue in 2020.
His administration is seeking to overturn the Affordable Care Act in the courts, but Democrats say not without a fight. Earlier this week, the Justice Department filed a court document in support of striking down the Affordable Care Act, President Obama's signature health care law. Democrats credit their health care platform with winning the House in 2018, and they say the White House is in for a fight.
All would be ended if the president gets his way. We will fight that. We'll fight that in the Congress. We'll fight it in the court, and we'll fight it in the court of public opinion.
We are going to be the Republicans, the party of great health care.
So far, Republicans don't even have a backup plan. The Trump administration's efforts to repeal much of the health care law failed in the Senate in 2017 when the late Senator John McCain voted against it.
A war of words has broken out between President Trump and the mayor of Chicago over the Jussie Smollett case. Chicago's mayor told the president to stay out of it after the president tweeted that the case was a national embarrassment. Meg Oliver reports.
Chicago's mayor says city lawyers are looking into getting Jussie Smollett to repay the money police spent investigating his claims of a hate crime attack. Tuesday, prosecutors abruptly dropped all the charges against the Empire actor, even though they say they believe he is guilty of staging a hoax.
Given that he doesn't feel any sense of contrition and remorse, my recommendation is when he writes the check, in the memo section, he can put the word, "I'm accountable."
In a tweet Thursday morning, President Trump also weighed in, saying the FBI and Department of Justice will review the outrageous case, calling it an embarrassment to our nation. But Mayor Rahm Emanuel puts part of the blame squarely on the president.
Let me be really clear about something. The only reason Jussie Smollett thought he could take advantage of a hoax about a hate crime is for the environment, the toxic environment that Donald Trump created.
Detectives' reports made public Wednesday revealed the details of the connection between Smollett and two brothers who told police the actor hired them to help orchestrate the fake hate crime. Smollett's legal team maintains the actor is innocent.
We believe that the evidence completely supports Jussie's version of the events, does not support in any way other than the self-serving statements made by the brothers.
Prosecutors say they dropped the charges because Smollett did community service and agreed to let the city keep his $10,000 bond. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
I'll take any questions.
Mayor Rahm Emanuel says once the Chicago Police Department figures out how much it spent on the investigation, the city will contact Smollett and his attorneys.
Now let's get a look at your first alert forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti has that for us. Hi, Gary.
Hi, it looks pretty nice out there right now. There are a couple of showers that are starting to develop over parts of southeastern Minnesota and northeastern Iowa, starting to creep into western Wisconsin. So I did have to add a chance of a shower. These are trying to hold together, but you can see they are starting to fizzle a little bit as they move eastward. They are moving pretty rapidly, so if you do get a shower, it'll be brief and light. Otherwise, the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville showing skies have clouded up over southwestern Wisconsin. The WISC Skycam looking off toward the east shows at least some sunshine mixed in with the clouds, and the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison looking off toward the southwest, showing mostly cloudy skies. As we check out the almanac for today, our high temperature back at 58 degrees. That's almost 10 degrees above average. Low temperature of 39, also about 10 degrees above normal. And right now our temperature's at 56 degrees. Winds are out of the north at 9 miles per hour. The humidity, 36%. That's why the air being so dry near the ground, it's possible some of those showers just might not even reach the ground. The rain might evaporate before it reaches the surface. Otherwise, temperatures, again, are pretty mild. Mid-40s in northern Wisconsin, mid-50s in the southern part of the state. And then down to the south, you can see some 60s. It's actually a cold front, which has moved through Wisconsin. Our winds have shifted around to a northerly direction here. But the upper level winds are still moving from west to east. So it's bringing this little batch of showers on through. Behind it, you can see to the south, there's a larger area of precipitation, some showers and thunderstorms that will stay to our south. And then another little piece of energy coming out of this big storm system on the west coast will move eastward along the jet stream. That will mainly stay to our south, too, from tomorrow night into Saturday morning, maybe bringing a chance for a rain or snow shower. But right now, much of the area may end up staying dry after all is said and done. So here's the first cold front that's moved on through and switched our winds to a northerly direction. Second cold front up to the north, dropping southward. Right now, the bulk of the cold air will stay just to our north until low pressure in southern Kansas moves eastward and then tugs down a little bit more of that cold air with time. Temperatures right now are in the 30s up behind that second cold front, but generally upper 40s to around 50 behind the first cold front, and ahead of the first cold front, that's where temperatures are in the 60s and even some low 70s showing up down toward the Ohio River. Compared to 24 hours ago, though, notice our temperatures just slightly colder than yesterday, but farther out to the west, there's more significant cooling. That will move eastward and give us a rather chilly weekend across southern Wisconsin. So our forecast for tonight calls for a chance for a shower this evening. Otherwise, expect it to turn partly cloudy and colder overnight, low temperature dropping to 33. For tomorrow, look for some sunshine in the morning, maybe a little more cloud cover in the afternoon with a high temperature of 52. As we take a look at future track, the showers really not even picked up that well on the computer model just because they are so light. They'll move on through, and then overnight look for temperatures to drop into the lower 30s. For tomorrow, look for high temperatures to be in the lower 50s again, but notice the clouds starting to thicken up late in the afternoon. Tomorrow night, a possibility for a rain or snow shower from these clouds, but you can see, again, not much precipitation expected. Low temperatures dropping to the mid-30s, and then high temperatures on Saturday, definitely on the cooler side, only reaching the lower 40s, even though we should break out into the sunshine as time goes on. As we take a look at the precipitation potential, you can see maybe a couple 1/100ths of an inch of precipitation down toward the Illinois state line. Otherwise, as we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast after the chilly weekend, those temperatures warm right back up into the mid-50s and lower 60s by the middle of next week. A little cooler at the end of the week after a couple of showers, and then look for temperatures to start warming up again for the following weekend. As we take a look at first alert traffic, right now on the Beltline, things actually looking not too bad. The traffic moving pretty steadily in both directions. The live view from the DOT camera at Park Street showing traffic moving pretty steadily there. Just a little bit of a delay between John Nolan Drive and Monona Drive, and also around Whitney Way in the eastbound direction, but a 16-minute commute either direction between University Avenue and the interstate. Heading out of Madison, 27 minutes down to Janesville from the Beltline, 18 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 16 minutes to Sun Prairie from downtown on East Washington Avenue. That is your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, smooth sailing. Thank you, Gary.
Still ahead tonight at 5, how the U.S. military is breaking out, targeting a growing new audience for recruitment. Stay with us.
Well, the U.S. Army is looking beyond traditional recruiting ads as it tries to pitch itself to a new audience, gamers. Nearly 75% of men under 30 and about 50% of young women say they play video games.
The audience for competitive gaming, also known as esports, is expected to rival the NFL by 2022. CBS's Tony DeCopel met with the Army's new recruiting commander about how he hopes to turn virtual fighters into real warriors.
We're the fake military.
Oh, thank you. I'm Snake from Metal Gear Solid.
At this sold-out gaming convention in San Antonio, people dressed up like their favorite characters, including more than a few make-believe soldiers. But there's one place where the uniforms were real.
This is where the Z-Gens are.
Major General Frank Muth, head of the Army's recruiting command, is looking for the next generation of American soldiers.
Is there something about what it takes to be a gamer today and what you're looking for Army jobs that overlaps?
Yes. It's the decision-making. It's the ability to take in a lot of information quickly and to be able to make a decision. It's about teamwork.
To help the mission, the Army is putting together the first all-Army esports team. More than 7,000 active duty soldiers are now competing for just 30 full-time positions, playing games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, and League of Legends.
7 rounds in a row for the defense.
And hoping to compete in esports tournaments across the country.
Last year, when we didn't make mission, we went down to the recruiters and say, okay, what can we do different? And they said, sir, first, we've got to get off the phones. Nobody picks it up anymore.
That's what got Major General Muth thinking, game on.
You know, the guys talk all the time while they're playing the games.
This is the kind of setup that you would imagine being able to begin a recruiting conversation.
Yeah.
Sergeant First Class Chris Jones is leading the new esports recruiting effort.
I'm going to give you the questions from a typical recruit. You got to give me the answer, okay? All right. Can I have a dog?
If you're a single soldier staying in the barracks, you cannot have a dog.
Can I have a car?
Now, if it's within your budget, yes.
Can I keep smoking marijuana in the military?
No, currently that is not allowed.
Not even a little bit, not even on the weekend?
Correct.
That may be a disqualifier for a lot of gamers.
Correct.
No, gamers may not fit the old stereotype of America's soldier.
As much as I love my community, we're not as physically active as people want us to be.
But many seem to welcome the Army's new interest.
Honestly, especially with all the shooter games that we have nowadays, I think it's a great segue for kids to they're always like, oh, this is kind of like the military.
The Army says its esports teams should be competing by the summer, and the other branches of the military are getting into gaming too. The Air Force has sponsored gaming tournaments, and the Navy is engaging recruits with a new traveling simulator. Tony DeCopel, CBS News, New York.
Whole new world.
It certainly is. A final check on the weather when we come back.
Maybe a sprinkle this evening?
Yeah, a couple moving across southern Wisconsin right now, but at this point they should be pretty light. You can see how quickly they're moving through, so they're not going to amount to very much. Otherwise, as we take a look at the current temperatures, 56 in Madison, but temperatures cooler near Lake Michigan, cooler to our north and west. Look for highs lower 50s for tomorrow, a cool down for the weekend, but a warm up later next week.
All right. News 3 at 6 will begin right after this. Stay with us.
A big day for the Milwaukee Brewers as they win their home opener and start the season off right. We're live in Milwaukee tonight at 6.
And a push to bring an app to allow students to report sexual assault is denied by UW leaders, but students say the reasons are invalid.
Plus, keeping history alive. A group of business owners in Sun Prairie are working to preserve the city's downtown.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5:30.
Thank you for joining us. What an end to the Milwaukee Brewers game.
The Brewers beat the St. Louis Cardinals thanks to a pretty amazing catch by Lorenzo Cain. Adam Duxter spent the day with the Brewers fans and joins us now from outside Miller Park. A tough assignment today, Adam. Go ahead.
Well, Mark and Charlotte, it's almost hard to believe that it was just 5 months ago that